Welcome back to the VET S.O.S podcast brought to you by the Who You Know Network. We are a proud member of the Parade Deck community. Remember, don't drown the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S lifeline. Today, we have a wonderful and awesome person with us. George, I just looked at the name and I froze up. Megonigal from the Recon Network is joining us today. Can't wait to jump into the discussion with her. Love sitting and talking with her. This is going to be awesome. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Eric. Eric, how are you doing today?
Brother, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I'm super excited to be here. Jordana, I cannot wait to have you tell us all about Recon Network. So, hey, man, look, I'm going to stop talking pitter patter. Let's get at her.
All right. So, Jordana is the CEO and founder of the Recon Network, an organization focused on the total and holistic transition of the post-military community at any stage of their journey. Coming from a family where nearly every branch of the military was represented, Jordana has long been passionate about our veteran community. Prior to the foundation of the Recon Network in 2015, she worked in an executive role in South Carolina business media until seeing plainly some of the harsh realities facing the veteran community as reflected in her grandfather's and Iwo Jima veteran final days. In a major shift, Jordana took her 20 plus years of experience in entrepreneurship, business, workforce, and economic development to create a truly different transition service for veterans and military spouses. Services focused on meeting the highest needs of those in transition and providing a sense of purpose to everyone they reach. Jordana, so happy that we finally got you on here. How are you doing today?
I am good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. So tell us a little bit more about your journey here. Okay. So what led you to want to work in the transition space? Really tell us about that story.
It's funny. I'm not sure it's so much of a want anymore as it is kind of a need or this, I talk to people about purpose all the time and it really is driven by that. So, like you read so eloquently from my bio, I was in marketing and media for a really, really long time and pretty well established, and was running a business magazine at that time. And someone came to us and was like, "You really need to talk about transition into the workforce." At that time, we were looking. This is 2014. I think Obama had a drawdown going on, so we were looking at really an influx of tens of thousands of veterans into the state's workforce at that time. And so I was kind of like, well, okay, I'll take a look at it. And the more I dug into it, I started realizing some of the challenges that didn't appear when we were talking about just the generalized job search or general workforce numbers or anything like that. At the same time, my grandfather, who was an Iwo Jima Marine, he reverted back to Iwo Jima for the last few months of his life. And so it's kind of this thing that happened from two different places in my life. One, seeing the practical elements of transition and what wasn't working and what was, and then the human element of a man who by any other means was very well established, well known in his community, very healthy and stable, and lived, into his 90s, and still had carried that his entire life. And so I really started looking at both of those things together and how they interplayed. And over time, really started finding out more and more. And it's interesting if you look at the hierarchy of needs, right? This is a fundamental system in human psychology. And the hierarchy of needs developed by Abraham Maslow basically says, hey, there's this pyramid of things that you need in order to really thrive. And so at the bottom are like food, shelter, water, that kind of thing. And then you have safety and security and health and all that kind of stuff. And you go up the hierarchy with relationships and esteem, how you think about yourself and how others think about you. And then finally, you get to this idea of transcendence or purpose. Like, are you living fully in everything in who you are? And when you're in the military, every single brick of that pyramid is either provided or facilitated by the United States government, right? And you're earning it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's given to you, but every single part is addressed. And what happens is when you get out, the only parts that get addressed are what you are consciously addressing. And so, most people are thinking of those basic needs. Do I have a house? Do I know where I'm living? Do I have a job? Do I have security? And then when it gets up, they think that stuff comes naturally. And in some cases, it really doesn't. And so what we find in a lot of cases is that an entire pyramid can come crumbling down. And they're just kind of sitting there left holding the bag going like, what just happened? Everyone told me I was going to be easy to hire. Everyone was hiring veterans and I wouldn't have any problems. And there's all these benefits and there's all these resources. I mean, you guys know better than anybody. There's all these resources. Why am I on my own? And so out of all of that, we really started digging into what it means to address the human at the center of transition, not just the job search, not just the benefits. Come out, find a job, but what job? What job is going to fulfill you as a human being? What is going to make you happy? What is going to pay you what you need in order to fulfill your commitments and all of that kind of stuff? And so we like to say we are really at the center of that and really focused on the human being at the individual level. So I know that was a really long-winded and circular answer all the way back around. But that's really kind of how we ended up and the very basics of what we started off doing.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's beautiful. And to find your purpose like that's phenomenal. I do want to point out that we've had authors on this show. We've had doctors on this show. And you literally just took us to school on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like straight broke it down. Which
Asterisk, I am not a psychologist.
It just completely took us to school today and broke down the pyramid beautifully. And you were so right in the sense of only things we address. And I've talked about this before. Like when I came out of the military, I was chasing a paycheck purposely. For very specific reasons. So doing that, I'm addressing, the financial piece of it and the financial stability that I was seeking and what have you, whereas I also wound up realizing that there was that sense of purpose that was missing. And then, so now I have to start readdressing things, right? And looking at, the different needs and go, okay, wait a minute, maybe I don't need this kind of money, or maybe I need to do this, or maybe I need to do that. So coming out of it, that's a real thing.
Yeah. And I think you're one of the probably the averages in terms of you came out.
Average. Thank you. Thank you.
No, that's not what I meant.
I haven't been called average in a long time.
I could have said it better myself.
So you came out, you found the job, you found the money, and then you realized, okay, there's more to this. You have some people who can't even find the job because they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. They know who the military told them they were. They know who their mom told them that they were before that. They know the commitments they have. So they know the roles that they play. Okay, I'm also a dad. I'm also a husband.
Mama never called me average, though. Mama said I was special.
Your mama was right. Your mama was really right.
So special.
so special. But yeah, so you are what we typically see. No, you're what we typically see is you came out and you got to a certain degree and then you went, oh, okay, there's probably more to this. And we work with them. I mean, we work with a lot of people like that as well. So yeah, it really depends on who the person is and where they stand. You can't address every need of every human with, okay, we'll go find a job now. Here's your benefits package. God be with you. May the odds be ever in your favor, and expect, and then turn around and be like shocked at, oh, we have a lot of veteran depression and suicide. I wonder why that happens. Like, we can't be shocked at this kind of stuff. We can't be shocked when we have high divorce rates among military families. We can't be shocked at all of this because we didn't spend the time addressing the needs of the human rather than the needs of the whole. And so that's kind of what we like to try and step in and do where we can. even for average people.
I love it.
Wow.
I think this is giving me an idea, and this is a little off topic, Sean, but I think we're going to do our next episode is going to be with you being roasted. Like we're just going to get a hold of it. We're just going to do a roast to show how much we love you.
It'll have to be more than 30 minutes. There's a whole line of people who would love to get in on that one.
Like I could do an hour easy. Just give me a call.
That's funny. Okay, so Jordana, tell me. So we understand the premise and the why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how.
So we do that through a number of ways. One, we have what we call transition coaching, and that's really for. We say the transition and everybody goes, oh, I'm just getting out and that's when I can use it. No, the reality is that I think the latest stat was 50% of veterans who get out feel that they are still not well transitioned 10 years later. Mm-hmm. 10 years. Like 10 years later, they're still not where they want to be. So we say transition and we mean literally anything. If you've been out for 7 years and are now looking at a different job or a career switch or something is just still not right, like that's, we work with everybody. And that's one-on-one coaching with certified coaches in one manner or another. So that's certified career coaches or life purpose coaches or what have you. And we kind of try and help determine that at the beginning who they need to be speaking with. We have cohorts, and so we're about to start a couple of private cohorts with internal groups. So companies who have their peer groups in the corporate structure, or colleges, or just people who want, like a company who wanted to say, hey, I want to host a group. I don't have a group, but I'll pay for it to happen. We can do that as well. So we've got these cohort groups that go basically through a walkthrough process altogether that also includes the coaching. And then we have events where we like to bring in speakers who are really talking to the things that we see as also valuable, right? So not just, hey, here's how to fill out a resume, but it's here are the 10 best hacks coming from 5 people on a panel of HR reps, right? What is the difference in a hiring process between a small company, a medium company, and a large company, and how do you tell from the beginning before you get into it, right? Like all of those things, that's about what we touch on with jobs. But then we're also getting into stuff like, how do you stay motivated when it's been 13 months and you had the expectation that you were going to come out, get hired, and be fine, and it's been a year or more? How do you manage that? So did I break up? I think I broke up.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit. The sound came through.
Sounds
fine.
great.
Yeah.
Well, good. Okay. So I'm in, I'm out of my league right now, guys. So we have like this event this fall called the VET Summit, Veteran Employment and Transition Summit. We'll have a number of different speakers there. So we'll have everything from like job search type stuff like we talked about, to some of the more motivational stuff, to just how can you get excited about starting over, right? And that's a lot. And I don't think we recognize the gravity of what we are asking 250,000 men and women to do every single year.
Yeah,
so,
I think we get really cavalier throwing around the idea of finding your purpose. I think that's the thing that we get really cavalier about. It seems so easy. Just you need to find your purpose. That's right. Fantastic.
And that starts with finding a job, right?
Right.
You find your job and then you find they're completely when we talk about purpose, we are talking about this compilation of your identity and your roles and your values and the things that are you, not the things that the job needs. The job needs certain things done, and you can either do them or not do them. But you have a purpose simply by breathing air and existing. So if you are out there slogging it on a line or in a cubicle somewhere and you're not feeling like something is clicking, guess what? That's a you thing. That's not a job thing. and they may be combined. They might not, like, they might be playing off of each other, if you have values that aren't connected with what you're doing at work and stuff like that. But the reality is your work is a third of your life, and you got a whole lot more that you can be doing outside of that to fulfill who you are as a human.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've heard this. I've got this thing I like to call the matching clothes syndrome, right? When we're coming out of the service, where we spent 4 years or 25 years or 34 years, and everywhere we went, we had people in common, jobs in common, experiences in common, places in common. And if
Right.
nothing else, we all wore matching clothes. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you step out of the service and all of a sudden you look around and you don't match anyone anymore.
Mm-mm.
You're standing there on an island. I have to figure out what drives me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the mission. It's not just soldiers, airmen, Marines, or sailors. It's what drives me. And that's such a terrifying place to be.
Yeah.
So I love that we've got organizations like yours out there to help us navigate that.
Yeah.
That's a big help. So, okay. What else are we doing? Tell me. I don't want to monopolize this conversation. Like our listeners need to hear what you guys are doing.
You're going to pull it all out of me, aren't you?
As much as I can. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I had one of your listeners right now, I'm trying to think if I had somebody out there listening right now that just didn't feel like they were right? Like something just doesn't feel like it's right. I got a good job, got a great relationship, whatever, but something just isn't right. That's worth exploring, right? Whether you do it through us or on your own or start digging in. I mean, I went through this process on my own, interestingly enough, when I started Recon, because I had this passion and I felt like I had this calling and this purpose, and it was nowhere near what I had been doing for 20 years. Like, I mean, it wasn't. I had been managing people and schmoozing and, like, had a name and people wanted, I dropped all of that and closed down, publications and all that, and went out into an area where I'm not a veteran. So I don't even have the name tag. I'm not even wearing the matching clothes. And I'm sitting there going, but hey, here's what I see based on all of this experience that I do have. Here's what I do see. And here's what I do know, because guess what? As being a civilian in the corporate world, you get a lot of this. You get well, are you happy in your job? And what it fulfills you as a human, blah, blah, blah. And so I had a lot of that. And when I went and I did that switch, I went through this crisis of, who am I right now? Like, what am I even doing? The imposter syndrome was absolutely uncontrollable. And, so no, I'm not a veteran. I know a whole lot about what I'm talking about. So,
well, that's the thing though. No, that's the thing though, because one thing that I try to make sure all of our brothers and sisters understand is that I don't want someone who looks like me, thinks like me, talks like me, acts like me to coach me to go do something I've never done before.
Right.
Our drill sergeants and our drill instructors are not civilians trying to teach us how to be sailors, soldiers, Marines, right? They're industry experts who are teaching us how to be that thing. So if I'm going to go from being a soldier into a new industry, which is something I've never been before, then I don't need someone who looks and talks and thinks like me. I need somebody like you who's been there, done it, and can walk me through what it looks like on your side.
Right.
And you hit on something really important too. You started talking about like how I feel. I've got this. Listen, I'm a real believer in the fact that feelings are great indicators. They're horrible leaders.
Yes.
And we do that a lot, right? Like we let our feelings lead. I don't like the people around me. I don't like the job I have. So obviously everything's wrong around me. Everything's bad. I don't know what to do. When instead it should just be, why is that? Right? Conflict should drive curiosity.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Everything pause. Why is this happening? What is going on? Let me explore this, what I'm feeling, so it can indicate what's going on, and then I can solve it.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot of it is, and let me tell you, I'm not going to make a blanket statement here, but my veterans out there, not always great with dealing with feelings.
That's weird.
Not always. It's the weirdest thing. But people do care. It is true. Your drill sergeant may not have, but we do. There's a lot of people out there who care.
Yeah.
And just as you said, your feelings, those are that signal that you've been given as a human that something needs to be addressed, right? Like if I feel pain in my knee, that's the signal to say something is happening with my knee. Oh, there's an ant on it. Oh, I got, a cut, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But until you start digging into it, you don't know. And if you go off the feeling of I'm in pain and you don't inspect it, guess what? You're never going to get better. So you have to take that time. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of commitment to want to dig into yourself, because you are the most resistant topic that you can ever find out there. So if you have a problem with it, you can always, ask your wife or your kids or your friends, like, what's wrong with me? And they'll tell you. But going into it and finding out those details and why they're happening and why you feel certain ways and how you can start addressing that, that's a lot of work. And we tell our people who we're coaching, especially in the cohorts that are committing to it for 10 weeks or so, this is hard. No one's saying it's not. And everybody thinks, oh, finding your purpose is this like woo-woo idea, like, are we going to get on yoga mats and hug afterwards? No, because you're going to be crying on your knees in the fetal position because you just figured out who you are and you have to face yourself now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
John Maxwell famously said, the hardest person to lead is myself. It's
right.
Trying to deal with all that. So before we get down to the end, jump back into the Recon Network, the VET Summit.
Yes.
Because I was able to participate this past year, and just the entire thing you had going on. There was a lot going on all at once, and it was just phenomenal. So unpack that a little bit for us about everything you try to fit into this, and the benefits that you're seeing.
Yeah. So, and you only got to go to the virtual version. This year we're hybrid. So we're going to have a live component too. So the VET Summit started, as most things did, before COVID. And it was a live event, and it was great. And then during COVID, our network expanded more nationally because we had capacity to, right? Just like everybody else did. And so for the past couple of years, it has been virtual. And we cram everything. We have speakers, we have networking, we have prizes, we have expos with like a virtual expo hall with vendors and stuff, and different ways to connect with other people who aren't in the same room as you, but have that opportunity. And this year, of course, live, it's going to be, that times 100. I love doing the live events, but it's essentially the same. We're bringing in, this is September 13th this year, and in upstate South Carolina, where I'm from, and it's great, and you should visit, and it's like one of the best places to live because everybody says so, including like all of the magazines. It's true, look it up. But we're going to be here, a day-long conference, so we're going to have speakers, probably 10 to 12 speakers, an expo hall the night before. I'm really excited about this. We've added a night at the canteen, and so we'll have a 1940s style USO fundraiser.
I'm there.
Just like music, dancing, food, drinks.
That's literally Eric's
chill
style.
I'm there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not that far away.
No, I'm not. And I think you can count on my attendance. Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe
nice.
Sean will have to drive up and we'll do a road trip.
Okay. It's on the books now, and I will come back on your podcast to tell everyone you didn't do it if you don't show up. So yeah, September 12th is the Canteen Gala, and then the 13th is the VET Summit. And so we're still working on our speaker lineup, but we're working on having a lot of great stuff there. Shout out Operation Headshot, I think, is going to be there.
Awesome.
So working on that angle. We're hoping to have quite a number of companies, hiring companies. We just got our presenting sponsor locked down for Vet Summit, Carolina Handling. Once again, they are amazing supporters of ours. But yeah, it's just going to be a great opportunity to come in, get motivated, find out the other stuff, meet some hiring people, talk to them about what you're looking for. All of our attendants get access to our GPS, Career Choice GPS assessment, which we use in most of our coaching. It's really highly predictive and offers about a 98.6 or something percent accuracy, what you're naturally skilled at doing, the types of jobs that you are inherently good at. So it gives us kind of a jump start on figuring out, okay, well, in terms of work, here's some ideas, but guess what? This algorithm is based on who you are. So let's look at that a little bit further. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a great time. And I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping, we'll get bigger and bigger and have larger and larger events. But yeah, we're expecting about 200 people, I think, 250 people.
You need to get Darius Rucker for the 12th. He's from South Carolina. I'm just saying.
He sure is. We got some stuff going on. So
I just texted my wife where we're going to be in September 12th and 13th. So just so you know.
Well, now it's done. It's a done deal.
All right. Wow. I can't believe we have come to the end.
Wow, that was fast, guys.
That was really fast. I know. And I think there's more to dig into here. So I'm going to go on record and say there may be a part 2 for you, Miss Jordana, because we need to
only
hear
depends
more.
if we make it to the gala or not. If we don't go, there's no second part.
I guess you better schedule it before the gala then.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing.
Play
We're
your
going to have to do that.
right.
Okay, so I know we've got the ticker tape going down below. Everybody's been watching that, but I do want to ask, what is the best place for our audience to connect with you?
Probably through LinkedIn.
Okay.
We're there. We're active there. There's a lot of resources there. So we have a monthly newsletter that goes out by email to everyone who's subscribed for it. But we also have a weekly one that goes out on LinkedIn, and it's kind of mini sized on a topic. So this past month, we've been talking about emotions and different types of emotions you might face in transition, how to build emotional resilience, all that kind of stuff. So, subscribe there, see if that gives you a little bit of something that you need. But always, if you need something or if any of this resonates with you, even if it's not us, we are fortunate to have a big network that we can help connect you to. And we would love to help. So reach out, LinkedIn, on our website. You can schedule transition check-ins directly from our website. You just go in and schedule your 30 minutes according to the calendar and show up.
Awesome.
Key being show up. But yeah, we're around, so you can find us.
I love it. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking time out of what we know is a very, very busy schedule to sit down with us, to share about your organization, what you guys do. We are honored. We would love to see how more we can help. We want to get on Team Recon Network, so let us know how we can help. All right, Sean, that's it, buddy.
I'll do it.
That is it.
That is it. This is the end. So listen, everyone, on behalf of the VET S.O.S family, we'd like to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us today. Make sure you follow and subscribe to us on your YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. And as always, please remember, do not drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.